It's the morning after the day that we went into HMP ISIS. Welcome back to part 3. As I said, this is a monster vlog, so if you haven't caught part 1 and part 2, go back and check it out. So in this video, we're going to talk specifically about depression. We're going to talk about the physical symptoms and the mental symptoms. We're going to talk about when you need to get help. So enjoy part 3. As I promised you, I'm going to talk to you about what we talked to those guys about. Now, I made a little bit of a mistake because I got my 3 A's muddled up yesterday. It's actually acknowledge, awareness and action. I got them a little bit muddled around yesterday. Nerves, okay? It's what it can do for you. The first A then is to acknowledge. Acknowledge that there might actually be something that you need to deal with. And sometimes I think this is the hardest step. Because I remember when I first started showing signs of the depression, I didn't know what was going on. I was certain that something wasn't right, but I thought, oh, it's just, just something I'll get over. Maybe I haven't had enough sleep, or things are getting too stressful at work, or whatever it is. The main problem we have these things is, what will they think of me? If I admit it, am I actually going to have to tackle it? Now that's a big thing, because sometimes when we say it, it means we've got to deal with it. What if they think I'm weak? What if they think I'm pathetic? What if they ostracise me? And it's almost like you're opening a massive can of worms, and we can sometimes be frightened to go there. But being able to acknowledge it and asking for help is not a weakness, it's actually a strength. If you had flu, if you broke your bones or whatever it is, you go and get help. There's no shame in getting help at all whatsoever. If you're going through a tough time, that may not sink in, but please just let it sit with you, because let me ask you this question. How much longer do you want to go on feeling like that? Because there is life on the other side of it, I can promise you that. And it doesn't just have to land with drugs and medication, which I'm going to tell you about a little bit later in this vlog. Please get help and really acknowledge that there might be a problem, and talk to somebody who you can confide in. Next one then is awareness. I got it the right way around this time. We need to create awareness around it. So if we acknowledge that there might be an issue or that we might need to get help, the next stage is actually to create awareness around it. Because if we look at the 2 most popular kind of things that kind of plague us nowadays with our mental health, is depression and it's anxiety. But what actually is depression and what is anxiety? Because 9 times out of 10, if we don't know what it is, then we get confused. I remember when I had my diagnosis, I knew beforehand, but once I understood it, I was able to manage it better. It's actually understanding what are the signs and symptoms and when do I need to get help. You look at depression first. Did you know that there are actually physical symptoms and also mental symptoms? And a lot of people don't think about the physical symptoms, but it's a real issue and it's something you can spot in yourself. Let's start with what are the mental symptoms of this then. Sadness, hopelessness, irritability, crying for no reason at all whatsoever, thinking that maybe you're not worth anything or that life would be better off without you. The fact that you don't enjoy things that you used to enjoy. Perhaps you just stare into space. Maybe you overeat, or perhaps you just don't feel like eating. Things taste different. You've got no appetite and you just want to stay in bed all the time. Getting out of bed is a massive difficulty. Being in social situations, you just can't be bothered. How about lack of personal hygiene? I know this is a big one for me and it's not the best thing to admit to, but yeah, I will go for days without washing or brushing my teeth because I just can't be bothered. What's the point? I just want to sit on the sofa and do nothing. And there are the more serious ones that may be hurting yourself. And sometimes that can be a cry for help. The same with maybe a suicide attempt as well. And if you ever get to that point, like I have before, I remember I got to that point once before and I called my sister. And she didn't need to know what was going on, I just wanted to talk to somebody to break the pattern of the thoughts that I was having, which were completely haunting me. But then we've got physical symptoms. And we don't often think about these physical symptoms, but the physical symptoms of depression will be moving slower, headaches maybe, aches and pains in our body, like in our back or in our limbs. We could get constipation. And the reason we get constipation is because our body physically slows down. And the biggest energy source that our body uses is our digestion. So sometimes we can just have an upset tummy and that, it just doesn't seem to be going right and it just makes you feel slow and sluggish as well. How about a low sex drive? I mean, if you're feeling crap, do you really want to have sex? Not really. And even for women, it could be a changing menstrual cycle as well. But we've also got the other things of talking very slow and in a very low voice because we just can't. But how do you know the difference between low mood and depression? So low mood often lifts in a few days. Depression will last a while. And there's lots of different kinds of depressions. There's circumstantial depression if something's happened to you. There's seasonal affective disorder. There's bipolar. There's premenstrual. There's mild. There's moderate and there's severe. And mild, moderate and severe depends on how much it plays on your daily life, how much it stops you enjoying life. Now they say that if you're suffering for more than 2 weeks with these symptoms, you must go to the doctors. And that is just kind of the standard thing that the NHS recommend. So that's depression, and there's the signs and symptoms, and that's what we talked about. And the guys were totally switched on to that because they knew how it feels.
So that's it, part 3 is done, and so you can join me in part 4. We're going to be talking about the same stuff but specifically with anxiety. So what it is, because we've got to create that awareness around what the hell it is. We need to know physical and mental symptoms. Join me on video number 4 when we're going to be delving into that anxiety. If you like this video, then give it the thumbs up, and if it really tickles your bits, then please hit the subscribe button down there, and it would be great to see you. Stay tuned for the next one.